Hmm. In hell, all the doors are ajar. Oh, okay. This is before the CD players. I hope she remembered to rewind. They never did. And Daryl would be in all night, rolling all these tapes back one by one in his little Walkman. He still has that thing. He says he uses it at the gym, but I think he's just too attached to his old mixtapes. He is so sentimental, our Daryl. These tapes had sounds from my apartment building. Did you know that? Oh? I thought it was stock sound effects from the library. Yeah, the CDs are, but when it was on tape, Daryl had me borrow a tape recorder from the music department and go collect them myself. He showed me a first draft of the questionnaire. I think some of them were still in there, like... What were you thinking about immediately before listening to the tape? I'm always thinking about Conway. After the tape ended, how quickly did your thoughts return to that subject? Right, I don't really get the point of that question. I think it's just there to set a baseline for the introspection index. So all the doors opening and closing, those are all from your apartment? Most of them, yeah. Others were from the basement. We have these rows of storage man, boy howdy. Most of them, yeah. Others were from the basement. We have these rows of storage closets down there. None of them are locked or anything. It's just like this weird row of doors. They're not even marked or differentiated. You have to keep count as you go and remember which one is yours. Mine is number 8. I went down there a little tipsy once. Sunday cleaning, you know. A few glasses of wine. Anyway, I accidentally opened number 9 and it was full of mice. Like, for a computer, I mean. They were all neatly arranged on shelves, organized by some inscrutable quality, cables tied with Velcro. The neighborhood mouse hoarder. A collector, I think. I guess he lived next door. I told Daryl we should add a question, something like, while listening to the tape recordings of doors opening, if at any point you have any expectation or visualization about what might be on the other side of one of these doors, please write it down. I mean, it's still going. I haven't heard the last door. I was just curious, I guess, since it was from my building. Like, I have a strong sense of where these doors lead, just by hearing them. But is that just from my memory, or is it inherent in the sound somewhere? Interesting. You should write a grant proposal. Oh, I wouldn't want to step on any toes. You know, university politics. Oh, here's another extended monitoring tape from the waiting room. Busy night. There he is again, sleeping. Where do I know him from? It's going to drive me up the wall. Does he work at the university? Oh, that sounds familiar. Yeah, I think he might have worked there a long time ago. Maybe when I was an undergrad? Ah, the Paleolithic. I thought he looked a bit rugged. That's right, Jen. I went to college during the Stone Age. What was your major? Fire. I don't think he was a professor. Maybe staff? It's been so long. Sometimes I wish I just barreled through like you did. instead of taking time off before grad school. I'm sure it was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah. One of the only things. I was such a mess. Did I ever tell you about that? My boyfriend died suddenly in my last year of college. Oh, poor thing. It's okay. It was a long time ago. But yeah, it really shook me up back then. He was studying astronomy. We were both really into experimental music. We took a few art classes together. That's so sad. How did... Sorry, never mind. Nah, it's okay. That's the thing, actually. I mean, that's what shook me up about it. It was just this random accident that never should have happened. And so sudden, you never could have seen it coming. He was back home, visiting his parents, and he fell off a roof. It's Lisette's boy. Damn, I know what you mean. You can't predict that kind of, what do you call it, freak accident kind of thing. My psychiatrist says that's why I'm such a pessimist. Well, I think you're remarkably upbeat, all things considered. I mean, you know, that thing with your boyfriend on the roof, but also what happened to the TV station. Acts of God. You think? No, I think that's what you call it. That's what you say when it's nobody's fault. So she was dating Charlie, I think his name was. I don't think I believe in that. What? Acts of God. Yeah, but there has to be a word for when something completely shitty happens for no reason, right? I guess it's kind of archaic. First, please use the blank space below to describe your general feelings about television. If you have difficulty summarizing your emotions succinctly, or have too many different feelings to fit in the blank space, you may also use the back of this paper. And that's all I have to say. You were asked to watch several videos. Wait, what? Oh, was I supposed to click around? Speaking of the TV station, you were saying something earlier about that other Marquez girl. Oh, right. I was talking about Weaver. Yeah, what exactly happened with her? You said she left on weird terms? Yes. Well, so... Actually, she just stopped showing up. That was pretty normal. It was all volunteers, right? Community television. Yeah, people don't really give much advance notice. They just got bored and drifted away. It was more like an art project than a job for most people. Rita Marquez helped manage the archives, like filing and sorting old tapes of broadcasts. I think she was pretty smart. She probably could have been more help fixing equipment or something, but she seemed content just to organize tapes. Nobody ever talked to her much, so when she left, no big deal. But then, a couple months later, we started getting these bizarre interventions. How many of these can I look at? Nice. At the beginning of the video, you were asked to make note of a memory from earlier in the day and associate it with one of the objects on the table on screen. Which of the objects did you choose? Was this object present on the second on-screen table after the camera passed through the doorway? I don't know. I don't know if I'm missing something or if it's just really choose what you please. Some would be doing a show in the normal time slot, and then suddenly the feed would cut. We'd still be broadcasting, but our signal was totally jammed. Oh, like interference? I mean total blackout. Then this video would come on, clearly shot in our studio at some point, and it was her, Weaver Marquez. She'd be standing in the middle of the studio, facing the camera. Okay. So there was an order I was supposed to be doing these in. Camera focused on a table, passed through a doorway, then focused on another table. Which object present on the first table was also present on the second table? Haha! Nice. Get her some work. She needs it. A bit fuzzy in my memory, but I do remember the sound. This awful hum. Like, that was how she did it. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. Amazing. Alright, so I guess I have to do these ones. And then that one, and that one, and that one. Wait. Huh. Then there were these on-screen captions, exactly the same every time. I don't remember what they said. Something creepy. Wow. that wasn't the right cadence. Wow. Jeez. I don't know, they sounded different. Probably they're the same one, but slightly distorted at some point. So yeah. Well, the same piece of music in both rooms? I'll say no. Was the music in the first room optimistic or pessimistic? Optimistic. It was nicer sounding than the secondary. Was pessimistic. We had a title maker at the station, but it was a different font. I guess she recorded it at WEVP and then took it somewhere else to add the captions? I don't know. We all did a lot of speculating about how she made the video. Why she made the video. Yeah, why not just broadcast it normally? It was community television, right? Couldn't be any worse than Naked Banjo Guy. Yeah, exactly. Some people thought it was a protest or something, but I know she didn't have anything against the station. To me, it felt kind of urgent, like she would have done her broadcast through the proper channels, but something came up. A crisis or something. Scuttling on through. The video began with footage of the outside of a building, and then entered the building. Was it day or night outside the building? It was day. When the camera exited the building again, was it day or night outside the building? It was night, sure. Sort of poetical. Or some weird time distortion. Anyway, how often did it happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. We even thought about asking the police to look into it, but it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, it could come from any direction, you know? Even a direction of time. Oh, God. It's all just waves. Exactly. It's all just waves. Mm. You know what messes me up? The Echo River is real. I know, like, I probably should have realized it, but I was looking at a map of the Mammoth Caves, and the Echo River is right there. And it's kind of fun looking at a map because it's like, oh, here's, like, I don't know, 86th Street station, and then here's just tunnels of just a vast complex of caves. Anyway, the camera passed through several doors with inscribed labels. Please write down the sounds you heard as the video passed through the doors with the following inscriptions: travel, nourishment. Ooh. Sort of makes me think of Act 1 when you stick your hand in and you're electrocuted and or have a spiritual moment with something that isn't a fish. Sleep. What is sleep but a different sort of travel? Weaver's video showed up again right before the flood. Actually, I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. Oh, dang. And you can't remember this message that you saw for years? Even though it was creepy? I don't know about you. I remember a lot of creepy things that I've seen or heard, even years later. I didn't study. Okay. Location updating effect on emotional memory. These results are kind of confusing, actually. She's either very hurried or just not taking it seriously. This test reminds me of one of your videos, Mimi. Hurried, but kind of disoriented. A portrait of anxiety. So, produce the standard effect on the forgetfulness index. That's all that needs saying, I think. Damn, this is taking a while. Daryl will be heartbroken if this is the only box we get through today. The poor thing. He is like a paper butterfly. I would say a moth. Left-handed. Oh, look. Can you read the date? Damn, I can't read it either. It may not have even been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. That's adorable. I think I'm going to be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it in from home. What was his name? Who? Oh, you remember. He was always like... I mean, we would make fun of him for... Damn, he's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going then. I guess I didn't even bother remembering their names. It's the guy that everyone forgets. The gas station attendant. I wonder who was working back when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check that out, did she flip the calendar forward or backward? Backward. Oh, weird. I usually flip it forward. Because I always go left, baby. There she goes. Wait, do you think... Did she follow them out? Oh, well... Here's the last extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. Oh god, oh no, oh god, oh no. See, told you he was one of those distillery guys. I guess you were right. Those other guys came to pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and work together. Yeah, but it's not. They're like more than co-workers. I don't know. I just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like, I knew them once, but not anymore. Like, when they make up a dead person to look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar, sort of strange. Uncanny, perhaps? Yeah, exactly. There ought to be a word for that. Yes, if only. Oh, Conway. Oh. Bye, kitty. They look like nice enough people. I'm sure she's very happy with them. Yeah. So, this has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? I bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up so much. How does it feel for these people to come up again? Reaver Marquez and Wise Will, I mean, and what was your boyfriend's name? The one who died in college? Charlie. Yeah. It's kind of a bittersweet experience, actually. Like looking at photographs of people who've died or moved away. People that are gone. Gone, but not forgotten. No, not forgotten. Yeah, you're right. That makes me worry that something bad is going to happen to them. So long. Look at those easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it an open-air gallery, or probably something more upscale, like al fresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities, like Paris and New York. A foreign city indeed. That may be true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either, just a kind of thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled out spider web, looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if it ever got rained on. That doesn't sound very useful, actually. No concern down here for rain. Oh, that's true, I'm an idiot. Yeah, no concern down here for rain. Everybody thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky, but it's a microclimate down here. And it surely does rain. Oh. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small-town life. Ooh. Ooh. Huh. The photo is titled Walker. His eyes are kind of closing, or maybe opening. Probably closing. Because of the scale of the thing, you can see all the crumbs in his beard. No, not food crumbs. Crumbs from sleeping outside. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. All sorts of connections. I don't know why. My first thought is a series of unfortunate events. How you start getting callbacks to previous books. And anyway. This is the island of existential Christmas trees. Oh, nice. I will say, this is an amazingly long act. I don't know if I'm just distracted, but it feels like a lot of stuff is going on linear-wise. Oh, you gotta love a good shroom. It's required by law. Huh. Jeez Louise. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of hospital entrance. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Oh, okay. How would I have known? How would I have known? Anyway. Plurocybella porigens. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture, and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. What do you think? Oh, lucky you. I'm kidding. You can spit it out if you want. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. That's not good. Then no one would be eating mushrooms. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look, see the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides. That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom, and phalloides means, never mind. Who hasn't talked to a kid and then halfway through regretted that you'd ever begun? Not because of the kid, it's your own mistake, but oof. Yeah, sort of nauseating though, right? Sickly sweet. Death cap, that's the common name. Has killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's a revolutionary. Ha ha ha. God. Man. It's been weeks, and then as soon as I saw a single ha ha, it was like ripping open just a barely scabbed open wound. Oh, they need to go back through for stuff that was oversaid. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. I actually didn't know that. That's just what they do. Clear away old things. Make room for new things. Buddha's outdated. Mushrooms decomposed him. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great. Look for... actually, just grab any mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done, and we'll see what you've got. And please, for the love of God, don't eat them. Why would you have a child touch them with their bare hands? That's not smart. There's a death cap right there. Have fun. That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Well, there's at least a sop to safety. brownish clump of mushrooms feathers out from the base of the cypress tree. A few feet above, several pale blue puffs cling to the trunk. Kate kneels on the grass. She parts the grass with her garden knife, studiously combing the ground. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of hot dog counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. There are no mushrooms in the grass. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, and then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. The woods were full of deer. His dad said the deer liked best to live on the edges of forests. Recent development in the area had created a lot of fresh edges, so they massed here and sometimes ran into the road. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of the tree. A speckled white ball and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. Had she ever tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture, homeopathy, Ayurveda, magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. Ew. He prods one of the pale orbs with a stick, and it cracks open a little, releasing a fine dust into the air. He felt like the world outside the woods had somehow slipped away while he was gone, and now there was nothing but the woods. He kept going. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Oh geez, that went fast. Ezra carefully removes the puffball and puts it in his bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm. Then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. His brother, Julian. Doxing my own sibling right there in the chat. Didn't find anything? That's okay. I just found this one. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still, pretty amazing. Anyway, I make a tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushrooms back into her bag. So, you have a brother out there somewhere? Julian. He's going to come find me in the morning, after the work is done. Yep, we work pretty hard. We used to spend part of each night looking for my folks, but now we pretty much just work. But maybe that'll change now. I have some new friends. Do you have a family? Ooh. Ooh. Oof, oof, oof. Oof, oof. Huh. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Ha. Ha. That's the sound of Distillerymen. That's the sound their bones make when they clack along, taking people's souls. Right. Not many trees down here in the dark. I know these are some kind of cypress, and they were definitely planted here deliberately by someone who... I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something? Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. Once again, she's failed him. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. Aw, that's a shame. She thought it was mostly bullshit. Only mostly. But found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling. Spiritual, even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes. Never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. It's a mystery. Whoa. Cats. I'll search for clues. Sorry, I'm very bad at navigating these. I'm just not good. Yeah, like I should. If it's still 3 dots, you gotta keep going. If you reach a choice, that's when you stop throwing. Okay, anyway. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Right, the monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Nice. That is a lot of cats. Well, there you go. X plus O for Eva. We know them. The tree smells spicy, oily. Some of the branches have been trimmed recently. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. Oh boy. It's a ghost ship of cats. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X plus O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever. Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. The branches on the tree are trimmed. Oh, good observation. So I guess somebody's still taking care of this place. Or just practicing their tree trimming somewhere out of the way. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Yeah. I think that's the monument that everyone... no one remembers what it's for. From here and there along the Echo. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. It took so long that it's mostly gone. Oh, there it is. The Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. Ooh. Interesting. I mean, there must be something on there. Life's everywhere. Rats, instincts, insects, some kind of hardy mold, cats, massive amounts of cats. Part of it could be flooded and host to some of the eyeless fish that live in the Echo. Hey, maybe there are some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. Okay. Reach a choice, you stop the throw, or whatever the heck I said. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade, with the car game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. I guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the Ohio River, and they fought on the river, like boat to boat, with cannons or something, I guess? Machine guns? I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost and somehow ended all the way down here? Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. Mythic underworld. Mythic underworld. Hundreds of highways, and they're all zero. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's a pariah. More mysteries. They do pile up over time as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Very story-oriented. Story-oriented. Thanks, Max. Story-oriented. This act. Is there... I don't think I can do anything. It's sort of like a cliffless Isle of the Dead by, what's his name? Brooken. Whatever it is. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is a more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. I don't know why I said meditative weird, but I did. Interesting, though. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump. That was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Loch Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with lock or luck, or split the difference with look, or even lick, or really anything else, but it was never going to happen. Huh. These are all pretty good. She was a volunteer teaching conflict mediation skills to guards, and he was employed at the side gate accepting deliveries and greeting visitors. Neither of them once saw a prisoner. That's a lucky... That's unlikely. Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. Retail storage and family nut company. I'll go with this one though. The natural next step was to start a local paper, what would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. And it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Cultists. In a drowned forest. I'm taking so long to read these that... Alright. I guess this one. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the baths. I usually send Will, but he's up to his elbows in mammoth grease right now. So, you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for, cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the Bat Sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the Bat Sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Okay, so the one... The cypress tree wasn't the monument, the famous one. Okay. Okay, bye. Toodle pip. What dark things lurk if I don't have my light on? Ooh. Am I supposed to be controlling? I do not know. I hope I didn't just miss some interesting bat facts. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find, and so we guess the water buried them for us, so let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Amen. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in. Where folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? No, I guess you probably don't. This probably stirs up. I mean, how do you. Hmm. Yeah, I see what you mean there. A memorial should be a kind of apology. Sorry we didn't do better by you. Ooh. Oh no. Quick, degoss him. Oh. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. I hope that's not too loud, but I don't want to say it anymore. Yeah, well, that makes two of us. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan, Consolidated. They've got a whole process. Oh, I'm gonna grow an ulcer. Anyhow, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Every piece, every, everything they say about this game is it is a tragedy. Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart. Plenty of time to bounce back from whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lisette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much. But sometimes, God, but somehow Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did. Or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery. And now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. I don't know. Like I don't want to say that. That's like Conway is a sweet soul, and I feel like I know him a little better than barely. Yeah, I'll do that. Sure. Okay. Sounds good. I'm gonna end up taking care of Homer because you're gonna. It's gonna be bad. Visitors to the Echo River Slow-Spotted Bat Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. That's real. I have to worry about that here in Austin. I'm so worried about the little Mexican bats that flap on by. We gotta protect them. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The slow-spotted bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Okay, so this is where we... Okay, it sounds like the boat stops without light. So I can't really protect them. I know that the distillery folk aren't themselves the bad guys, but they have toxic ideas. Bat fact. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Yeah. Oh yeah, like, how about this weather? I guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly or angry or drunk. Oh, Conway. Oh, you schlubs. Stop leading my man astray. Oh, did we just boated right through them. I think, unless I'm insane, which I might be. Damn, it's really dark down here. Are you still there? Oh, there you are. I hope that's you. I was just thinking about my ma. I guess because we were talking about your folks a minute ago. To be honest with you, I don't think about her that often. Your cousin brought her up earlier, and she's just been on my mind. It's good your folks have a memorial. A lot of people, nobody remembers them when they're gone. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not the kind of guy you build a memorial for. Haha. No. Whoops. Bat fact. The slow spotted bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hibernaculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the slow-spotted bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the slow-spotted bat normally hunts to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of Lake Lethe. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on subterranean agriculture, we collect that precious guano here at the hibernaculum and manually distribute throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. It's all fake except for the bats. It is. Yeah, hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, the little gray nothing moth. Well, a lot of people eat fake food, right? Food taken apart and then put back together so it looks and tastes like something they remember eating before, even if they never really did. It worries me because when has a human being ever figured out what was actually good for an animal? Yeah, in this case, I think it's about survival. I mean, if that's the bottom line, what's the difference? It's about survival. I don't know. Life is more than just survival. If it's just survival, you'd wake up, work 12 hours, go straight back to sleep. Like the folks in the mine. You said they used to buy stuff. Fans, canaries, all those little trinkets to make it bearable. These things were actually essential, my dude. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered but human. I just mean all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. Oh. Yeah, I guess I do. Nah, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest damn riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a music school? Ha! Count your blessings. Better hang on a minute. It feels like there's one kind of hovering right over me. A bat of doom, perhaps. They don't really hover, though, do they? I mean, how could they? I guess a lightning bug will hover by beating its wings really fast. Maybe they can do that, too. I used to watch lightning bugs in the evening, out at the edge of the woods. Lisette's kid, Charlie, he loved them. You know, he ended up going to college and studying astronomy. And I like to think he got his love for stars from those nights watching bugs. Anyway, me and Charlie, sometimes we try to see one of them up close. You lay in the grass and you have to be totally still for a while. Like one of those wax sculptures. Don't even breathe. Like this. Oh, he can't see me. I was doing the watching lightning bugs on the grass face. It is sort of like talking on the phone, I guess. You and there along that go. Yeah, you've seen it already. When I fell in the mine, kind of stunned, in shock. Hey, who were you talking to earlier? When we met in the mine, you were on the phone with someone. I forgot about that. Oh. Yeah, I try not to use it. I like to see someone's hands when they talk. Most people never learn how to lie with their hands, so anything you see there you can pretty much take for the truth. It's fascinating. I don't know how that works, but oh. By the way, have we pointed out yet that a lot of this stuff is once more stuff that was in the mine? I wonder if I missed whatever it was that explained why that tree was striped. Oh, these skull people. I don't know how long to wait to see if there's anything. No? We're not going to talk about that? Hey. Uh-oh. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting the stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly, and it is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder, as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the slow-spotted bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time. So the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River slow-spotted bat hibernaculum and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Like these fuckers. Goodness gracious. Lisette's sick. I mean, she's old. We're both old. Hell, you're about the youngest person I know right now. Oh, and the kid. Maybe Homer by people calendar. In dog years, though, I bet he has us all beat. So I'm old too, sure, and I forget stuff all the time. Especially if I had a few. Every time, I just collapse. I just collapse like a sad jellyfish. And I forget stuff all the time, especially if I had a few and my brain is swimming. But I mean, Liz, it's all going away. She's losing words you'd never think you'd lose. Not just like the street she grew up on, but the names of colors and types of furniture, or I mean even the word furniture. She'd say, we still got a few nice pieces in the, what's that I call the shed where we put the bigger pieces, the beds and couches, and I'd say, oh, Liz, why do you keep teasing me about that time I fell asleep in the furniture shed when it's so damn comfortable in there? I tried to help her keep some dignity, you know? That's all I had to offer at the end. She has a sister in Nashville who will take good care of her, and now that I'm not around the shop all the time, what was that old guy's name? He used to make deliveries for the shop. He smells like leather. Ira was always yelling at him. Too drunk to work on the one day he could have been in the right place at the right time. No, but it's awful to say, but sometimes I kind of wish she would. That way, at least she could eventually forgive me. You know what I mean, right? Okay. I think the bats are clearing out. Like vultures. Have I talked to Homer yet this act? I can't remember. I gotta go through my 3-part questioning of Homer. I go like, hey Homer, how's it going? These people sure are nice people, aren't they? I hope I'll feel fulfilled one day. End conversation. Just in case. Because I do see some bats flapping around. Bat flaps stirring. Okay. Is this the salmonitis? Like, just, like, immediately here? Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. Oh. Haha. I'll just be floating along down here. I just mean, keep your eyes open. And don't look back. What? 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 Oh, hi, I remember you. I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. She was from the Museum of Home Space, or whatever it's called. Yeah, you'd have to be to hang out down here. Okay, bye. What did he mean? Don't look back. Dashiell Hammett, what are you doing here? Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. Huh. That's a pretty good idea. They're probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore. There are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. Oh. Huh, I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid. For one reason or another. For one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then, too, but they were considered a nuisance. A train station, right? Well, the river shifted, and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I miss that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folds. WEVP, that's a community television. Everyone says it in scare quotes. I volunteered there for a number of years. Are you Banjo? No, surely not. I volunteered there for a number of years. I know everybody over there. Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. So Weaver's... I'm now confused about timeline. Oh, right, but yeah, so that stuff was far in the future. So Weaver's still there. Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Yeah. Conway. Who's that over there? Bird. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft. But old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets, and deliver them to other people nearby, to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation. And that's where we left them. Aww. I've been having a very emotional time. And just reading that made me tear up. Worrying about Conway softened me up, and that just was the final blow. This is where we left them. Is there going to be like skeleton birds in a thing? Wait a second. Who was that over there? Homer. Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? Oh. I'll take this over Consolidated. Ooh, must be my new patch cables. And not a minute too soon. This one here is hanging on by a fiber. So, who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only asked because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashiell. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back. A long while, actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go. But he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume. From growing on his resume. But I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know? Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Esther, Angie, Wilma, Connie, all of whom, by the way, were names used in that interminably long logbook. I'm pretty sure. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college. Yep, that was, but was she part of, Xanadu? I can't quite recall. And Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller, but he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. I hope so. I don't recall a Hester off the top of my head. So they hired Beryl, Jana, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing. And they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Karen, and Lois left one Friday evening, and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. Public exchange? Private something exchange? They had Jan and Liz stop routing calls, and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. This is very depressing to me. I'm sorry. It's just like, what do you do? I mean, what do we do here in the real world? Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sound pretty good to me. There's so much misery in the world. If I have any ability to change outcomes. So, where was I? Right, and a healthy dose of slippery elm. I got that one from Kate. So, after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch Number 30. It's not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear, so my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on the phone. That's an electric touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this whole exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So, short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that, officially, is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you. They have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator lights switch on, and I make the connection. You know, there's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. I don't know. At least a month. That's what I said, but this has been going on for over a year. And a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here? filling in for the rhythm of the operators. What if I'm the cheat machine? God. I see what you to notice. I'm Morn, the Echo River Central Exchange, and I'll carry a torch for the voice with a smile. But at least I'm keeping some part of a human, right? Even if it's not the best part. Ah, the parcel. Right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping it off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. No. No, stop them. Kill them. It's one of those Conway? Man. She returned on the dinghy, alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. Whew. I'm gonna stop it here, I think. My voice is going. Man, I'm worried about Conway. This is an incredibly long act. I'm genuinely surprised. I don't know. I mean, I know it's been days, if not weeks, between sessions. But it feels like this has been going on for a very long time. And it's pretty linear, if not entirely. I would like a happy ending. But I don't foresee anyone smashing into the offices of the Consolidated Power Company for the rights of the workers anytime soon. Anyway, talk to y'all later.